Hear you and see you. You look beautiful as always. Thank you for being on time. Thank you for wearing your Clinton Blazer attire. I really appreciate it. I want to cover a few things before we get started. The first thing I want to say is I hope and I pray all of us do that. Midterms are going well, that you're having everything that you've studied is coming back to your remembrance, that the tests are easy to you, so we pray that as you continue to test, make sure you rest, eat well, drink water, sleep, and relax. So we pray that midterms are going well for you this week. Another major thing I'd like to address this week is I'm going to ask you to please put your cell phones away for Beacon Forum. We want to remember that we are here to show our professionalism, to show our respect, to show our attentiveness and our gratitude, not just for the guest speaker, but for anybody who is up here, okay? This is your chance to make that first impression. Remember that first Beacon Forum we had, all right? We don't want to give anybody a reason to say that, oh, I'm not coming back because of rudeness or inattentiveness. So we just want to make sure that as we are showing our professionalism, we are also being respectful. So I ask that you please just put them away. Now, I understand if emergency comes up, and we're all bad at it. I'm not just talking to students. Us as adults, we have to learn how to be better at that as well, okay? Are we on the same page with that? Thank you, thank you. All right, and last but not least, let's be prepared to participate and ask questions and to be engaged with whatever is going on this afternoon, all right? So, as we move forward, I am going to ask that Coach T come and open us up with our invocation. After that, I'm going to ask Ms. Duckett to come up and introduce our speaker. Let's give her a warm round of applause as she comes up.
Good morning, everyone. I would like everyone, before I go and lead us in the word of prayer, to take an opportunity to think of something that a request or a prayer that you have before God, and I want you to put that at the forefront of your mind as we pray. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We praise you for being all-seeing and all-knowing. We declare that we walk by faith and we will have what we say. Our Father is with us at all times. Therefore, we walk in and with your authority. We shall not fear, because God in us is greater than the whole world against us. God, as these students continue to take these midterm exams, we ask that you give them the peace that they need, that they will understand what it is that is before them, that they will overcome it and not be overtaken by it. God, we ask that you continue to make them leaders, that they will be a light in the midst of a dark world. We ask that you continue to give them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. God, we just thank you for everything you're doing in the midst of these students. And God, all those prayer requests that they have before you today, we ask that you answer them, because you said that we can make our requests known. And God, we just thank you for answering those prayer requests. Allow them to know that you are with them at all times. In Jesus' name we pray. We give you all the glory and honor. Amen.
All right. Good morning. I'd like to thank you all for attending our Beacon Forum today. Today's guest is Mr. Angelo Jeter. Mr. Jeter is an award-winning poet, educator, author, and performance artist based in Rock Hill, South Carolina, known in the spoken word world as iambic. Jeter's work touches on a variety of issues, including social justice, race, grief, character, and manhood. Over the course of his career, Jeter has amassed several accolades and recognitions. He currently serves as the Poet Laureate of Rock Hill, South Carolina, is a 2020 Academic of American Poets Laureate Fellow. Jeter is a 2018 National Poetry Slam champion, Rust Belt Regional Poetry Slam finalist, and Southern Fried Regional Poetry Slam finalist. He is also the founder and director of One Word Poetry Festival, a 5-day celebration of poetry with readings, open mics, competitions, and performances. His work has appeared on All Deaf Poetry, Charleston Currents, Gratefulness.com, and the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series. His debut collection, More God Than Dead, was released in June 2022. Please give a warm welcome for our guest, Mr. Angelo Jeter.
All right. Good morning, Clinton. Oh, y'all can do a little bit better than that, right? A little bit better. It's a big Wednesday morning. Good morning, Clinton. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Y'all good? Y'all doing all right today? Awesome. Thank you again, Ms. Knox, for having me. I've known you for a long time, and anytime you have the opportunity to share a mic in the space, you give me that. So I really appreciate it. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if I'm good enough for it, but I appreciate it anyway. And thank you, Ms. Duckett, for that as well. Appreciate that. So like they said, my name is Angelo Jeter. She told you a little bit about who I am and things I've done. But what I will say is that one of the things that just makes this a really surreal moment for me is I'm actually a former employee of Clinton. So I worked here. My first job out of college, graduated from Winthrop in 2008. And my first job out of college was working here in the TRIO program, right? Big TRIO, right? I was an academic learning specialist. Me and Ms. White were over there together working. And so it's really great to be back in the space and back here. And I've been here a couple of times, like at open mics and stuff, hosting. But it's always a special thing to just be here at Clinton. It has a special place in my heart. I wouldn't be the person and professional I am had I not had this job and been here. So I really appreciate y'all's time. All right. So with that being said, today I'm going to talk a little bit about passion and purpose and turning your passion into your purpose. But I'm also going to do some poems for y'all. That's all right. That's cool. So with that being said, right, this is now like the Beacon Lounge. Like, forget that this is a forum and you got the fancy jackets on. But this is like a poetry spot now, right? So with it being a poetry spot, we have to have certain rules, all right? So the first rule is relax. Say relax. Right? How many of y'all had a crazy week? Somebody gave you a paper that you know you ain't prepared to do. You got a test today, right? You know you didn't study for that test, all right? You were up all night playing NBA 2K or whatever it is. Me doing the same thing, right? All of that. All those problems that you had before coming in here can meet you outside while we're in here. Let's keep that good energy, right? Say keep good energy. All right, say relax. All right, number 2 is participate. Say participate. All right, so I might ask you to say something. I might ask you to sing something. I might actually do a call and response, right? Those of us who grew up in the church know what that means. So all I ask is that you do it. All right, is that cool? That's cool. Say cool. All right, the third one is in between like talking sometimes and in between poems. Those who see me at the open mics here before know I do this. I might take a sip of water, right? So I want you to think, every time I do that, I want you to think of whoever your celebrity crush is, right? Mine is like Megan Good right now. Megan Good, Summer Walker, like a mix between them two, right? Think of your celebrity crush. They sent you a text message, said they're madly in love with you. They're going to pay off all your student loans, right? That's an amazing message you would get from someone, right? So when I take a sip of water, I want you to make noise like you got that text. All right? We're going to practice it once. All right, y'all ready? That's it. It's Drake. It's 21 Savage. It's whoever y'all like. You know what I'm saying? I want you to give me that energy. Let's try it one more time. Let's do this. If you don't have a crush, your favorite artist is doing a private concert for you in your living room, right? Yeah, right. Same kind of thing. So give me that kind of noise and that kind of energy. All right, let's try it again. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. I'll take it from them. So like I said, today's topic is passion to purpose. And we're going to talk about a little bit what that means, what passion means, and how you discover it, and then how you like channel it and how you harness it, right? So again, who am I? So I am a poet, spoken word artist. I've been writing professionally, I guess, right? Writing and performing for about 15 years. But my journey as an artist and an individual came from the church. So my mom was a minister of music. I have pastors in my family, so I was always in the church. And so growing up, I was always on the choir, always singing, doing leads, solos, and all that kind of stuff. And so I had a passion for music at a very, very young age. I think I remember being 3 years old and trying to sing off key and all the songs that the choir was singing, right? And then later I started like writing songs. I was writing like R&B songs, singing them to girls I liked in school or whatever, and making them blush, right? That kind of cool stuff. Just to like exercise that skill and that tool that I had. Then it transitioned to later, about 10, 11 years old. I was a really big fan, and still am, a big fan of rap music. Any fans of rap in here? Any fans of hip hop music in here? I know y'all like it, right? My favorite rapper at the time was a rapper named Nas. For those who may be familiar, Jay-Z also a close one, and then later in life, J. Cole and Kendrick are some of my favorite artists. But I started writing raps, right? And it was my way to kind of just have an outlet to express myself, right? And so it wasn't something I ever imagined being like a career and being a poet and being a spoken word artist. But my passion for writing and my love for it and my energy was just something that was always there. And I always just really enjoyed the ability to kind of just talk about my feelings and my thoughts, right? And so writing for me has become therapy. It's become healing. I've had to, go through, as we all do, our own struggles and obstacles and things in life. And if it wasn't for a pen, I'm guaranteed that I probably wouldn't be standing in front of y'all today, right? I would probably not be here on earth or be behind bars because I had anger issues, or I was mad at the world, I was upset, or I was depressed. But being able to put my words on a sheet of paper and express that became a passion for me and an outlet so that I could channel those emotions in a different way, right? Instead of being harmful, instead of being negative, I could have something that could get those out of the way, and then later come back and feel refreshed and not have done something harmful to myself, right? And so that's the impetus, and that's the beginning of me and my journey. In college, so I started writing in 7th grade. Like I said, I didn't really pursue it until college, really. And there was a show called Def Poetry Jam that was on HBO, and it would have these different poets doing things, and we had poets come to campus. And there's one particular night after we had a poet on campus come, I just started writing something. I thought it was a rap, I thought it was a song, but it became something totally different. I never experienced that feeling before, right? And it ended up being my first spoken word piece. And I was like, this is really cool. I need to probably memorize this. I had never memorized my poems or anything like that. 2 weeks later, I went to the open mic on campus and I got a standing ovation. And that was a feeling that I never felt before that point. It's like, oh man, my words aren't just good for me, but people in the room felt electric, right? From what I'd said, it inspired them and made them feel something different. And so the ability to have that passion and that fire and igniting to other people is what kind of started me on my journey. And then years later, I've done competitions. I won poetry slams. I do things like this as well, because I believe it's about spreading it to the next generation, not just me talking about what I can do and keeping it for myself, but it's about spreading it to the world. So the first poem I'm gonna do for y'all today is called Writer's Block, and it talks about my passion for writing and kind of how I harnessed it, like I was talking about, into being something bigger than myself. So when I step on stage with this mic in my hand, people act like they don't know who I am. Kind of like I'm a stranger when I step to the mic, as if they never heard my poems or prose or listened to my similes or metaphors ever before, and ask me crazy questions that some of you might be thinking in your heads right now. My brother, who in the world are you? So I tell them, well, I'm the reincarnation of Frederick Douglass and Langston Hughes, sprinkled with little Maya Angelou, topped with Emerson, Frost, and Tennyson. So if you don't think I'm a menace, then maybe you should sit in the audience and talk to some of my citizens. For currently you are all nothing more than metaphors and similes that reside on my blank page. And the verses I create with you are so memorable that I often press replay. So allow me to repeat you again. For this thing called poetry is embedded in my veins. As a matter of fact, I have my DNA completely rearranged. So cytosine, thymine, guanine, and adenine no longer reign, but they've been replaced with pen, pencil, paper, and ink. For these are the instruments I use to carve the world. See, I make mountains where hills once resided. I speak truths with fallacies once were hidden. I can retrace the word of my scribblings, because this ain't about jeans and Timberlands, hyperboles and synonyms. This is about pushing letters in your skin and then releasing words to the universe so they can be heard again. You see, I have to admit, y'all, I've often called writer's block a bit because I was sitting in my room thinking hard of the next line to make the crowd go, ooh, say ooh. Then I realized, this ain't really about you, boo-boo, right? It's not about me. It's not about points, and it sure enough ain't about trophies. But this is about resurrecting and saving lives. For kids in junior high who struggle with peer pressure, every day trying to get by and long to get high, but are too afraid to blow dro, so they pick up a pencil and inhale life. This is for that 20-year-old female in college looking for paper on her quest for knowledge. In high school, she did not apply herself to get money for scholarships. So now, to pay for loans, she goes to the club on Saturday nights and starts working the flow. You get so frustrated with the way things go at night, she opens her pad, puts a pen to the page, and begins dancing with her soul. Because this thing called poetry is eternal therapy. And I painlessly paint poetic prose, which perfectly portrays the penmanship of Picasso himself. See, I am a writer, dangerously delivering truth and scripture to the world in the form of couplets and sonnets. I am a poet, transcribing history with 3.5 millimeters of lead and ink, going back across the middle passage, up to the Milky Way, traveling to new galaxies so I can carve out the next day because y'all, your boy, writes religiously. And I write religiously because my life is one of biblical proportions. See, my mother's real government name is Mary. And 30 years ago, Mary met a man named Joseph. And through immaculate conception, they gave birth to Angelo, an angel, oh so heavenly, use his talent to save humanity. And I'm not trying to say I'm the next Jesus Christ, but every day I like to think that I resurrect someone else's life with this poetry. So it should be easy for you to see it's much more than a hobby or a chore for me. So the next time I step on the stage, I demand the utmost respect because I gave you the very breath in your lungs, the exact moment that my pen wrote on your blank page. Thank you. Hey, I want you, on the count of three, I want y'all to give me a big boo, the biggest boo you can give. I didn't tell y'all something. So on the count of three, give me a big boo. 1, 2, 3. So one of the rules of etiquette when it comes to spoken word spaces and lounges is like snapping, right? So you can snap if you like something. So let's practice that together. Snap it, right? You can clap if you like something. Practice that. We really like noises, right? And engaging in interaction. So ooh, ah, aha. That boy good. That's deep. That's deep. And my personal favorite, yes. All of that, what you said too, is good. So I'm gonna be doing, like I said, I'm gonna be sprinkling poems in as I'm talking about, like motivating and using your passion into your purpose. So what is passion, right? What is passion? What does it mean? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for other people? When I think about passion, I think about the very first time that I put my pen on a sheet of paper, right? I was a kid that moved around a lot. I went to 2 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 4 high schools, right? So I was always the new kid. I was always learning new people and having to adapt, right? Just when I thought I was good with this set of friends, I had to now make a new set of friends. When I thought I knew the neighborhood in this city, I was moving to a totally different city. So as being a new kid, one of the things that happens is that you're the target for people to make jokes on you, right? You're the target because you're kind of the outsider to the community or the city that you're in. So that happened to me. I got picked on sometimes, right? I also wasn't the richest, so we didn't have the nicest shoes and the nicest clothes all the time. So I was feeling very low at points in my life. I was like, man, I just really want to be as good as everybody else. I want to have the things that everybody else has, right? I want to be important. I want people to value me the way they value this other person over here, right? And so the very first time that the teacher said in 7th grade to write down whatever you're feeling, it wasn't a very good poem. I don't really even remember the words, but I remember the feeling that I had, right? And the feeling was freedom. It felt like it's the first time that I'm saying something and nobody else can tell me this is good or bad. No one can say anything else about it because it's mine. It belongs to me, right? And as y'all know, growing up, a lot of parents and adults tell us things, but they're not always listening to us, right? Friends and our peers, they're talking to us and talking at us, but not listening to us. And so I felt like I didn't have the platform to always be able to have conversation with people because of that. And so when I wrote on a sheet of paper, the conversation is me in these white lines, right? And it was able to release some things, release some anger, release some resentment, release love, right? If I was crushing on a girl or whatever it was, like I was able to put it there. And I just remember feeling free. And so the first thing that you want to do when you're trying to decide whatever your passion is, I know you're in school to try to figure that out, but school alone can't do it. Like you have to do some of the work on your own, right? And so the first thing you want to do is what makes you feel free? What makes you feel free? Like when I was a kid, before I discovered poetry and music, it was basketball. I used to pick up a basketball. I'd be outside from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., shooting, dribbling, playing with my friends in the neighborhood, right? I felt a freedom in playing basketball because it was like, it's me and the hoop. That's it. You know, I'm getting exercise. I'm loving this game. I'm trying to like be the best player I can be, emulate the players that I saw growing up. Michael Jordan was like one of my favorite players of all time, right? And it was freedom that I had playing basketball. That was like, man, it's just me and this right now. That's all that matters in the world. So what is it for you that makes you feel free? Maybe it's playing an instrument. Maybe it's dancing, right? Maybe it's marketing. Maybe you're a marketing genius that don't even know it. But you have always had this thing where you're trying to promote something or you're trying to sell something to somebody, right? Perhaps you are a teacher. Perhaps you've always been wanting to educate people. You had little dolls when you were younger and you were teaching the little dolls, right? My girlfriend talks about that all the time, how she had little dolls as a girl and was teaching them stuff, even though they couldn't talk and listen, right? But that made her feel free. And so what makes you feel free? I want you to challenge yourself to think about that. What makes you feel free? 9 times out of 10, that's the thing that you're passionate about. The second thing is, would you do it for free? Right? We're in a world where, you know, economy ain't the best, right? We always want to make more money and those kind of things. But I can guarantee you that everybody that's in this room has something that you would do if you didn't get paid for it, right? For me, it was singing. It still is. It was rapping. It was poetry, right? It's also educating people. I would do that for free. If nobody could ever offer me a check, I would still do it. Because before I ever made money off poetry, I was just doing it because I loved it, because I saw the potential of what it could do for me, right? So not only what makes you feel free, but what would you do for free just because you love it, because it means something to you, right? A lot of my athletes have probably felt this. Maybe eventually you want to make millions of dollars playing in the NBA or playing professional volleyball or professional esports, whatever. Maybe you eventually want to do that. But I would venture to say you started it because Call of Duty was real cool to play, or Mortal Kombat was real cool to play, right? Or the basketball that sounded really, you know, dribbling basketball on the court made you feel cool to do it. Like something like that, very small, became something bigger for you. So would you do it for free? The third thing is, what keeps you up at night, right? 2 nights ago, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, y'all. I think I was nervous about talking to y'all today because what I say really means something to me. And the impact I have on people means something to me. It kept me up at night because I wanted to make sure that I was saying the right things to the right people in the right moment, right? So what keeps you up at night? What are problems are you trying to solve in your sleep? You ever had like a dream and you wake up and you was like, you immediately started doing whatever the dream was about, right? Has that ever happened to anybody else before? No, a couple of people, all right. For me, it used to be writing songs. I would hear songs in my dreams. And I wake up and I start writing them down. I would hear the melody. I didn't have the words, but I would hear the melody and all of that. And I started doing it as soon as I finished, right? Because it was something that meant something deeper to me. So what keeps you up at night? What is in your sleep? What is in your subconscious thoughts that you may not even be realizing that it's there? It could be the smallest thing, but it's something that's in you that's pulling at you to tell you to come and harness that. The fourth thing about discovering your passion is you study it without even trying to study it. Case in point, for my athletes in the room, for my esports people in the room, I know we have like those teams in volleyball, and we have sports athletes in the room. Not 9 times out of 10, there was a player that you were emulating that you saw playing on the basketball court, on the volleyball court, or in the esports arena. You're like, I want to do that. That was kind of cool what they did. That meant something to me, right? And so because of that, you started looking up videos or watching all their games, right? Or you started reading the books about this person, watching interviews. You're studying without even trying to study. When I was a kid, you know, you had like the neighborhood parks or whatever, right? So I would go to the park, I would play games, and then when I wasn't chosen, because you weren't always chosen, right? Some person, whoever had next. So I would sit and watch the players that were in the next games, and I would see the best player on the court. I'm like, oh, he had a really fast, first step, right? His triple threat was good. He had a great jump shot. I want to play like that. I'm studying him the whole time while the game is going on. I'm not even caring about the score, but I'm paying attention to the people in the game. What are you studying without trying? What are the things that inherently that you're doing? Maybe you're like I said, marketing genius. Maybe you're a social media content creator, and you're looking at different people on social media, and you're like, that was a nice video that they did. You're making TikToks in your room. You're making Instagram reels, right? It could be anything like that. You're recording people on campus just randomly, just in the caf or whatever. Maybe you're a videographer, but you don't have the language to say that you're a videographer, right? But you're studying it without even trying to study it. So those are the 4 things, right? What makes you feel free? Would you do it for free? What keeps you up at night? And what are you studying without even trying? Those are the 4 things that's going to help you harness whatever your passion is. And after you figure those things out, repetition, right? You want to repeat, and repeat, and repeat. After you figure out what your passion is, like, okay, cool. I want to be an electrician. I want to be a mechanic. So then you're going to have to start working on some cars, brother, right? You can't be a mechanic if you don't actually put the work in, right? But the only way you can be the best mechanic you can be, or the best player you can be, or the best lawyer or educator is by doing it over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes second nature, right? I don't know about y'all, but if I ever went to a hospital and the doctor had to do a procedure on me and he opened the book and said, all right, I think I got to cut your knee open right here. I think, what you think? How did it look to you, right? If they ever did that, I'm like, I'm out, dog. Give my money back, give my copay back, or whatever. I'm going home. You're not operating on me, right? But because of the repetition that you have to do when you're doing a residency as a doctor, when you're working in a hospital, it becomes second nature. Like they know like the back of their hand. And so you want to work and work and work on whatever it is that is motivating you and inspiring you, and know it like the back of your hand. You're the expert in that thing. That's the only way that you're going to succeed. And I got to be real with y'all, right? As people of color, as Black people, it's especially important for us to do that, right? And I hate to say that, but it's just real. In the world out here, that people are automatically judging you based on what you look like. If you come in with a do-rag on, if you come in with earrings in your ears, if you come in with locks, right? People are automatically saying this person doesn't know anything about what they're going to do. And that's not fair, because you're brilliant. You're a genius on the inside, but on the outside, they're already judging you. So you know what you got to do? You have to be the best at whatever that thing is and shut them down so they can never question you again or question anybody that looks like you again. When I walk into a space, people automatically assume certain things about me, and then I come up to them and talk professionally. I say what I have to say. I do my job. I do whatever is needed for that situation. And then I leave and I handle it professionally. Oh man, I've never heard anybody talk to me like this. I never had anybody like interact with us, right? Because I'm a professional. I own my craft. I repeated it. Repetition is key. I'm passionate about this. This isn't just something I'm up here doing, writing some rhymes on the fly. Like I love this, right? So if you love it, you have to pursue it to the best of your ability so you can do the best that you can do. Does that make sense? So when you're talking about these gifts, and we all have gifts, and again, if you haven't figured out what yours is, that's okay. That's what you're here in college for. That's why you have family. That's why you have friends. But I believe that gifts that we have are God's work, right? Like God is working on us, and he's harnessed and created these things. And there's times where you're at an impasse between, okay, I love doing this, but I feel like it's not getting me where I want to go. I'm not able to harness and get the money I want to make. I'm not able to be famous or go viral like I want to be, right? But you still love it. So you have to like cope with that, right? And so this poem deals with that, and it's called God's Work. So if you had to describe me in 2 words, most strangers say I'm extremely quiet. Those who see me perform poetry at least once like to say I'm very talented, incredibly humble, but those who know me best, my family and friends, they call me a starving artist, an artist who illustrates his art form for income. Because they know that most of the time this poetry thing really ain't enough to pay the bills. So I got to work a 9 to 5 that feels like 5 to 9 in jail time. And I become a prisoner to my passion, handcuffing my aspirations, placing my ambitions in isolation, serving life sentences by writing my life in these sentences. Electrifying performances turn into electric chair mentalities where we are shocking our competition. We're killing ourselves by doing the very thing that gives us life, breath, implants oxygen into our lungs, makes the air feel tangible, like we can literally grab onto it and make things happen, transforming our vocal cords into violin strings that make beautiful music with our words. See, y'all, this is God's work. Right now, his work really ain't working. I mean, there's no 401k, no salary, no benefits or compensation. I mean, we barely get enough for minimum wage. And when cell phone bills start crowding your inbox, eviction notices strap themselves like bombs to your front door, your conversations with God sound less like prayers and more like letters of resignation. Dear God, I regret to inform you that your servant is dead broke. So now I got to work a job I hate in order to make time for something I love. So y'all, here I am, going from slam to slam, from feature to feature, from workshop to workshop, slam, feature, workshop, slam, feature, workshop, slam. My calendar looks like a 15-year-old boy with ADHD and commitment issues. Too many places at the same time, but there's no prescription for this, right? No Adderall or Ritalin or counseling or treatment for this, because this is art. I mean, this is passion. This is poetry. This is supposed to be God's work, but he's not working enough dollars in my pocket. So yeah, you're right. I pimp these poems, right? I make money off my metaphors. This stage transforms into an auction block where I sell myself for chapbooks and t-shirt sales. This microphone becomes the noose where I hang my emotions so you can hang on to every word. I raise the volume in my voice so you can raise those pesos out of your pocket. See, last week, I got a call from my bank account. It told me I need to start paying more attention to my overdrafts than my rough drafts. 3 days ago, I got a voicemail from my brother that said, keep doing your thing, Playboy. I'm proud of you. Last night, I got an email from a woman that told me that my poems literally saved her life. And 5 minutes ago, I got a text message from God. It said, I just deposited enough hope into your account to move the subtraction signs of your available balance. I hope you know that since the day you've been born, you have been working for me. And no matter how frustrated or broke you get, I will never let you quit, because you, sir, you've got some work to do. Thank you. I don't know what y'all got going on over here. So, last few things I want to talk about. Again, right, that poem was talking about, having a passion and trying to make money off of your passion. It is possible, right? At that point when I wrote that poem, it was a frustrating thing when you see, again, comparison is the thief of joy, they say, right? Because you see everybody else doing certain things, people that are my contemporaries in poetry, winning the same amount of competitions in the same spaces I'm in, and they're going viral. They're getting, 1 million views. They're doing shows in different colleges. They're doing festivals, right? And at that time, I wasn't, right? And so I was frustrated with it, but I had to learn that I have to run my race, right? My journey is my journey. And so my journey led me to be here with y'all, right? Which is just as great, if not greater, than going into a theater with 3,000 people, because I'm touching you directly, right? And so you have to think about, for yourself, what is it for you to feel successful, not based on what someone else is doing, but on your own benchmark. What do you really need? Like, not what you want. One's a great too, but what do you really need to feel like you're successful, right? What do you really need to feel good about yourself waking up? Do you need $1 million to do that? No, probably not, because you already don't have it. And I would venture to say you've been happy about yourself at some point in life, right? So you got to harness that and channel that thing. So turning your passion into a career. The first thing I had to learn is find a mentor for whatever it is. Again, I'm talking about not just artists, but anything that you're trying to pursue. Find a mentor. A mentor can be, and you need two mentors: a distant mentor, a person that you probably maybe like a dream mentor of yours, and one that's close. So here's what I mean by a distant mentor. I don't know LeBron James, but I follow everything that he does. I follow him. I mean, not like stalkerish, but right. But, I follow him on social media. I see the things that he does in the community, his activism, his work, the way he's a father to his sons, those kind of things, right? So I follow him and see how he moves and maneuvers. There are famous poets, Ada Limon, who's the poet laureate of the United States, amazing writer, amazing person, great energy. I haven't had the chance to meet either of these people in person, but how they conduct themselves makes me feel like, oh, I want to be like that. Like I want to harness some of those things that they're working on, and so I can use it for myself. So find a mentor, and to find somebody close to you that can give you access to where you want to go as well. It could be a professor, it could be a family member, someone in your church or in your community that can also guide you to kind of get you on the path of where you want to do. Find a mentor. The second thing is learn and perfect the craft, right? I talked about repetition a minute ago. But you can repeat all you want, but if you don't know anything, right? So if I learn something today, if I learn Spanish today, for example, I only learned 6 words and I'm just repeating those 6 words. That's great. Those are the best 6 words I could ever say in my life, but that's it. It's just 6 words. I'm not learning them anymore. So educate yourself, right? If there's a seminar, if there's a workshop, if there's like a YouTube video, if there's a TikTok video, anything where you can learn about whatever your craft is, perfect that, learn, and be thirsty for knowledge, right? You say be thirsty out here in the streets. You don't want to be thirsty in the streets, but be thirsty for knowledge, because that's the best way that you can really, perfect who you want to be. The next thing is have audacity. Have audacity. At a certain point, after you find a mentor, after you learn and perfect your craft, you know your worth, right? Like you know who you are. So you have to be able to say, I'm just as good as this person over here. I deserve this starting spot on the basketball team, right? Or I'm just as good to get this internship at this prestigious law firm, right? You have to have audacity and put yourself out there. Audacity isn't just saying it, it's doing it. So apply for that job, apply for that internship, talk to people that you thought were out of your reach or out of your league, like have conversations with people. Put yourself in spaces and places that seem completely far-fetched, right? One of the first things I did that made me feel this way was there was a big poetry competition called Southern Fried. It's poets from all over the nation and all over the world really compete, right? I went to the slam. I wasn't affiliated with a team or anybody, didn't know anybody, but I said, I want to go out there. I just want to see where I land, how I compete against these people. I got smacked, right? I lost. I lost very badly. But what I did was by doing that, by putting myself in that space, it gave me a platform, right? For one, for people to notice me. For two, it gave me the ability to say, okay, I'm not quite where I think where I want to be at, but I know I can get there. I'm not so far, right? And having the audacity made me feel confident enough to keep going back the next year and getting second place, and then the next year and getting first place, and then going again, winning first place again, right? So having the audacity to put yourself out there. And as much as I thought I got smacked, everybody that was there said, man, you're really good. Like, you really need to keep going with this, bro. Like, I want to help you. And that became my mentor, because people that saw something in you. So have audacity to put yourself out there. And the last thing is know your worth. And I mean, in this sense, know your worth as an individual, but also know your worth monetarily. If you're trying to turn your passion into a career and that passion and career into a purpose, like, you got to know what you're worth, right? So if you think you're a great marketer, great advertising person, and you want to be a content manager for somebody's Instagram or social media accounts, great. Have the audacity, have the conversations. Don't charge them $10,000 for the first thing, because you're probably pricing yourself out, right? But knowing what makes sense and charging, don't just charge yourself pennies. Like, we have a thing, especially in the Black community, where we like to say, okay, well, I'll do it for free. Just give me $10. No, get your money. Like, you deserve to do this. Just because you love doing it and you would do it and for free doesn't mean you should always do it for free, right? It's okay to have those things, but also just be confident in saying, hey, this is my price and this is what I would like for this, right? It's okay to know your worth. That's really important if you want to turn your passion into a career. So I want you to remember, again, about your passion, what makes you feel free, would you do it for free, what keeps you up at night, and what makes you, what do you study without even trying to study? And if you're trying to turn a career, these are the things that you also want to make sure that you're doing consistently, because consistency is also key, right? Consistently to get where you want to go. All right. So the last thing I want to do for y'all, because I'm here and it's just, I think it's serendipitous in a way. So 2 years ago, I wrote a poem for the Clinton Connection block party they had. And so the theme for the Clinton Connection, where they're like revitalizing the south side of Rock Hill, is going to be new businesses and new things happening here. But the theme for it is We Got Next. And so when I was thinking about today, I'm like, that's so fitting. And I wrote a poem for that, and I want to share it with y'all because it's really about you as students. And you do have next, and you really got now. You really have now, but next is even bigger coming for you. All right. So I want to share that with y'all. Is that okay if I can share that one? All right. So it's called We Got Next. So the first professional job I had after graduating my bachelor's degree was at a 2-year institution at the time by the name of Clinton College. When I started, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I mean, I had never visited the campus, had never spoken to a faculty or staff member, had never met a Clinton student in my 4 years at Winthrop. I'm gonna pause. There's a point in this poem where there's a phrase saying, we got next. I want y'all to say that with me, all right? Cool? Let's practice. I'm gonna say, we got next. We say got next together. Cool? All right, we got next. Perfect. So I was going in there blind with no knowledge of exactly what I was getting into. I found out very quickly that Clinton is a lot more than what your eyes see. And on May 4th, 2009, I pulled up on 1029 Crawford Road and quickly turned that campus into a second home. And if home is where the heart is, then Clinton has always been a living room of opportunity. Dancing to the rhythm of my pulse, a family reunion where perfect strangers rock the same skin as my kin, with struggles stitched in their chromosomes, eyes swollen with hope, stomachs starving for success. Clinton has always been an incubator of potential, birthing young minds who were always told they would never amount to nothing. When they were enrolled, they were showed they could always count for something. And isn't it funny how those couple words can change a whole sentence? Isn't it funny how a couple souls can revitalize a whole image? Like, isn't it funny how the oldest college in our city can be underfunded, undervalued, and overlooked? And we sit back and laugh at their pain because Black struggle has always been America's favorite punchline or pastime or lunchtime. So now we feast on their knowledge. We get obese with ambition, we beast competition and delete opposition. We repeat our traditions and meet new convictions. We seek new missions and defeat our afflictions. We treat our conflictions without being walking contradictions. We speak our decisions with impeccable diction. This is about more than credit hours and financial aid, more than degrees and certifications, more than trio programs and basketball games. This is a symbol that Rock Hill is more than just one side, one color, one shade. We all make the grade and we are all connected and we got next. Even though we tried to write us off, when they said Clinton would be left for dead, even when the future looks dim, when our students become scholars, when scholars become geniuses, when you all become billionaires, when they create masterpieces, when they cure the next diseases, when they take over the world, and there's no better time to start than now. Thank y'all so much. My name is Angelo Jeter. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. If you care to follow me or anything that I'm doing, here's my social media handles at Iambic, at Rock Hill Poet. Also have a poetry festival, at One Word Poetry Festival as well, and then angelojeter.com as well. Thank you.
Can we give Mr. Jeter one more healthy round of applause? Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Jeter that they're just burning to ask right now? Any questions? No, we're good. Okay. Well, I trust that you got a crumb of some of the knowledge and wisdom that he shared this morning. Oh, Mr. Joseph, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Have you had any difficulties with writing or speaking out loud?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. So I think the biggest thing is fear, right? So there's a lot of fears in America. The number one fear is public speaking in front of people, right? And so what I had to do is just like really get in front of a mirror and kind of just talk to myself to hear what my voice sounds like. Because hearing your voice sounds kind of crazy, to you, but to other people it's fine. But that's the biggest obstacle I had, which is really being confident in what I had to say. So just, again, like I mentioned, like repetition, practicing that, talking in front of the mirror, talking in front of family and friends, and just being honestly silly enough to just try it in front of people. at a certain point, right? You have to be scared and do it scared, and I get nervous every time before I perform, but it means I care about it. It means something to me. So if you feel like that, it's not because it means you're not supposed to do it. You're nervous, you're a little scared about it because it means something to you and you want to make an impact, right? So just be afraid, but do it afraid at the same time. Sure.
Excellent question.
Yeah. No,
Are you?
I'm sorry.
I just want to repeat the question so everyone hears. He asked if you're from Rock Hill or did you just go to school in Rock Hill?
Yeah, so I'm not from Rock Hill. I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. But I've been here since 2000, since 2004 when I came to college. I've been pretty much in Rock Hill since then. Yeah.
Any other questions? Who was your favorite student when you were at Clinton?
My favorite student was not Coach Blair. Just kidding. But no, Coach Blair and Coach A were both students. Are y'all the only two that were here when I was working here? Yeah, we're both students when I was working here. So they were some troublemakers. I wouldn't call them my best students, but they always came by the office and they always showed love and they always were involved with what we had going on. So it's good to see y'all back here for sure. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, no, you absolutely. So his question was, is poetry something that you can work on, or is it like you got it or you don't? No, you absolutely can work on it, and you should work on it. There are some people I think who just are naturally gifted at things in general, right? And so you can take that, but even if you're not naturally gifted in it, in order to be better, you got to study and you got to practice, right? So yeah, absolutely. So I've done a number of workshops, a number of like seminars and things about how to be a better writer, how to use the literary skills, how to perform better, right? Like, it's something you can always get better at. And I'm always striving to be better than I was. For sure. Great questions.
Excellent.
Cool.
Any others? Any other final thoughts, questions?
You sure? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Jeter, he'll hang out for a little bit.
Yeah,
So if
for
you
sure.
want to ask him, you don't want to ask him in front of everybody, please come up and talk to him. It's very personable. All right. One more round of applause for Mr. Jeter. Thank you
y'all.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. My name is Miss Knox. Here are your announcements for this morning. Counseling and Support Services present Wellness Women Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. in the multipurpose room. All women are welcome to attend. Today is Women's Choice, so you may pick the topic and we will discuss it. Open dance class will be every Thursday at 6 p.m. in the multipurpose room. This week's theme is Ballet and Lyrical Dance Part 2. Make sure you bring your socks to class. Thursday is game day for our Lady Bears volleyball team. Come and support the home games against Payne College this Thursday night at 6 p.m. and again on Saturday, September 30th for a doubleheader against Pensacola Christian College at 11 and Johnson & Wales at 3. Let's pack out the gymnasium this week and wear your Always Reppin' t-shirt. See you on Thursday. Trio and Career Services present Let's Taco About Career Plans on Friday, September 29th at 2:30 in the multipurpose room. You must complete the career assessment prior to the event. Check your email from Clinton Communications for more details. The Beacon Academic Success Center presents a workshop on overcoming test-taking anxiety on Tuesday, October 3rd at 12:30 in the ACE building, room 105. Excuse me. Please stand by. Okay. As we lead up to World Mental Health Day, the Department of Counseling and Support Services, Student Activities, TRIO, and WATCH has coordinated an eventful self-care week for our Clinton College family. On Tuesday, Counseling and Support Services and WATCH will have giveaways and prizes as we promote self-care. Music Bingo will be hosted later that evening. Come out with your friends and unwind from the day. Wednesday, we will have the weekly Wellness Women Wednesday hosted by Ms. Takira Barber, followed by a listening session hosted by Student Activities and Watch. Come out and let us know how to help you and how to support you. On Thursday, we will have a Repair with Care with Blair, a conflict resolution seminar. We can't do life alone. Let's learn to resolve conflicts so we can heal our tribe and village. There's another chance to unwind during the staff versus students basketball game at 6 p.m. On Friday, Mr. Cameron Knox will host Brotherhood Meetup Session. This event is for men only. It's a safe space to discuss all things man. Later, consider attending a 45-minute guided meditation and yoga session. This event is open to everyone. On Saturday, meet up at Cherry Park in your Clinton College apparel as we support the National Alliance of Mental Illness, Tri-County, at the NAMI Walks. NAMI provides free mental health services in the county. Please consider donating to our team and walking with Team Clinton in support of mental wellness. Okay, thank you all for your attention. All right, freshman seminar, please scan your QR code at this time. As you're doing that, I do have one more announcement. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize. We have one more announcement. The Clinton College First Year Experience had a fundraiser earlier this semester to raise funds for programming. $361 was raised. The student who raised the most money raised $306 herself. Because of her diligence, we would like to recognize her for her efforts. We present this $25 Visa card to Ms. Vanita Collins. Congratulations, Vanita. Freshman seminar, may I move on? You got your code? All right. And here's our survey for everyone, our Beacon Forum survey. Please scan and leave your feedback. Today is September the 27th. And when you complete the survey, just look up so I know it's okay to move on. All right, are we good? All right, we're going to stand together and sing our alma mater, and then we will be dismissed with our benediction from Dr. McLam. You have the lyrics to the alma mater in every other seat, so if you're unable to see the screen, remember we ask that you try to learn the alma mater, even if you just fake it and move your lips. That's good. All right, here we go. Clinton, our dear old school, for thee we reign and rule. For thee we take our stand to honor thee. We'll honor, cherish thee, as down life's path we flee. Clinton, our dear old school, we love you so. When we enter her gate, when we our classes take, we pledge allegiance true to honor thee. We'll honor, cherish thee, as down life's path we flee. Clinton, our dear old school, we love you so. We'll honor, cherish thee, as down life's path we flee. Clinton, our dear old school, we love you so. We love you so. We love you so. Please stay standing as we have our benediction by Dr. Brown.
All right. Well, I just have to tell you, every time I see you, y'all look wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this time. Mr. Jeter, thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Let us just bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the hands that have prepared our meal. Thank you for the fellowship that is about to be bestowed upon us. We ask that every one of our students and all of those that are in attendance would glean something from Mr. Jeter's words today as we go forth in your name. Amen.
Can I get the two guys that asked me questions to come up? I have something for y'all. Yeah. It was a call. Yeah.